And today I'll be talking a little bit about like what are insights within TheyDo, what are the different relationships that are possible, how do personas and insights correlate and connect, and just practically how do you add an insight and what does the insight repository look like. But for that, I will be going into the product itself. So first of all, here again on the right, you can see the insight that I was just talking about as well. So this is the I want to shop quickly. It's a need that customers have. Today we're looking into the journey of a supermarket, because I always feel that it's very relatable. Everybody goes to the supermarket, so that makes it easy. But again, you can see here this I want to shop quickly insight. And what we allow you to do compared to previously is that these insights have this repository, which is what you can see here. It's a repository where all the different insights are gathered that you add to your journeys. I'm starting here, but because I wanted to quickly show you, like, when we see this graph where the I want to shop quickly is linked to a pain and a gain, we can create that hierarchy also within TheyDo. So I can say, okay, I have this pain that I add to it, which is a sub insight then of the I want to shop quickly insight. And also under this specific pain, I have an observation and a quote, which is one of those factual insights that I've added, that I uncovered from my research specifically, and I can add to this top insight. Before I go into detail into what the other insights are, I want to show you that same insight in a journey. So going into the journey, also here, I have the I want to shop quickly insight, and I can open it up and directly see, what are the details about that insight, and again, can see that hierarchy also here. But if I want to actually make that clearer on the journey, like I want to also make it a bit more concrete, I can now highlight one of the quotes and directly have that on the card, meaning that, I can basically make it more concrete, like what is actually happening with these insights. So that's a little bit where we've taken this hierarchy, this atomic research differentiation between the different types of insights, and allow you to create your own hierarchy there. I mean, you can go as deep as you want with different levels, and therefore really building up your evidence in terms of what you have uncovered from your research, and add those, of course, to the steps in the journey. So that is actually then also the first insight relationship that I wanted to talk about. So insights can have sub-insights, and again, can have those parent insights, and you can easily navigate between them by, just clicking on them. You can go one level up here or another level down here, and that way see your pyramid and how the different steps relate. Then within the insight itself, of course, they're added to the journey. The context of the journey is always like one of the most important, because that is actually where you're really representing that customer experience. But they can be added, and I need to quickly look if I can find one that is in two journeys. Well, not directly, but anyway, they can be added to the journeys. And then you can also here see, like, in what steps do I have this insight? So for example, this insight is linked actually to 3 steps, because wanting to shop quickly has something to do with getting items off the shelf, waiting in line to pay, paying for your groceries. These are all steps that actually where people have this need to be able to quickly go through it. So that is the second link that you can have. You have an insight is linked to a step within a journey. And the third one, and maybe one of the most important ones, what I talked about very quickly already before, but is that link to an opportunity. So here you have this opportunity that was uncovered, that was identified because of this and a few other insights. So if I now click on that opportunity, you can see also here the list of insights that actually led to the specific opportunity that you're looking at. This can, of course, be more insights. So for example, for this opportunity, we uncovered a few more insights, and you see them all gathered there so that you can actually, again, trace back even from a solution. You can go back to that opportunity and then see what were the insights that led me to actually, me and my team, to define this specific opportunity. Well, basically, that is the different relationships that insights have. Then in terms of mapping the insights, again, here is, I think where you really want to start with is that research that you have, and some of the other tools like Dovetail are really the tools where you do the insight gathering, you go from the transcript and actually define the insights. But then once you go into the journey mapping, that is really where you start adding the insights to TheyDo. We have the same way of adding insights or creating insights as we've had for opportunities and solutions. So here I can create a new insight, and it will, compared to opportunities, it will actually search in a better way within all the insights that you already have. So there's less chance of a duplicate, and we're even improving this very specific feature of how you're adding an insight to make it even more useful and preventing more duplicates. But let's say I create a new insight right now, we automatically directly create it here, and you can start, well, defining more out of it. It's maybe another need because I created in the need lane, and can of course add the other properties there that I will be talking about very shortly. So that is how you create these insights here. I'll actually delete this one so we don't, because it's not a real insight that we uncovered, but that is where that is. I already showed you how you can add a quote to a card. So let me talk a little bit about like how can you impact that experience curve? Because I think one of the things that we have changed with this is that we will migrate all the persona actions and quotes that were two types of lanes, two types of cards previously within the journey. We will migrate that to these new types of insights. And the reasoning for that is because all the insights might actually have an impact on the experience lane. And obviously, as you have probably already uncovered, these insights are a lot more powerful than the relatively simple cards that were just text cards in the journey previously. Yeah, compared to them, you can do a lot more with insights. We're looking here at the coins are often forgotten pane. I've added all the different properties that you can add to this, but what I want to highlight here is the experience impact. So the experience impact is really what defines what the curve is for the user. So your end customer is defined as a persona. This stays exactly the same as we had before, but now with all the panes added in a certain step that are connected to a specific persona, you can impact the experience curve. So for example, if we say this pane is actually much more problematic for customers, we can put it at -2, and you see that both of these personas that are related to here actually have a worse experience during this step. And that is really how we now work with the experience curve to make sure that everything that happens in such a step automatically adds to the way the persona experiences it. And that is basically the main connection between persona and insight. So every insight can be linked to a persona to really see like, oh, this is the type of persona that actually is experiencing this. And well, you can have one insight also linked to multiple personas. So last but not least, we do have we make a weighted average out of this. I think somebody mentioned this also in the chat before, like how do I weigh what insight is more important, how customers experience this more important. This is why we added weight. So if we change that, you'll be able to see that actually, oh, this insight was maybe, even though the impact is quite large, relative to the other insights, it's not that much weight. And so you can really have granular control of how you map the insights and map the experience there. I'll also quickly, as a last thing, go through the different other properties, and then we can go into Q&A and see if you have any specific questions. So type we talked about. There is a a few standard types that we have. We took those again from like the atomic research methodology. So job to be done or need, bit similar. Then pain, gain. You can add activities, observations, quotes, or trends. But again, as with any types, you can also add a new type if you're an admin and change these as you want. So you can create your own taxonomy also around insights here. Owners, you can set, for example, to define like who's responsible for updating this insight, for researching it further. Well, just, yeah, that's how you can use the owner. Similarly, the status, we have started with assumption validated and invalidated, where we can imagine like you start with an assumption, doing the journey maybe quickly outside in, then start researching like, is that assumption actually true? You can put it then to validate it, and that also then has impact on how you see that. Experience, impact, and personas we talked about. Group is similar to owner, but can then be focused on a team, like what team is responsible for this insight, or what team is this insight important for. Tags you can set like as your taxonomy is already set. And last but not least, we have the emoji to add a little bit more fun and visual interest to the journey, where you can add this like small emoji to add some fun there. Yeah, that is basically the whole feature as we have developed it now. I'll quickly go back to these, and well, maybe last point I can leverage a little bit more and haven't really talked about so much is indeed the repository. Also here you are able to see the different insights, but actually see them underneath each other. So you can really see what are all the insights that we have uncovered that are linked to all the different journeys, and have this repository of all your insights there. You can also see one level of hierarchy within that. So when you look at a specific insight that has sub-insights, you can quickly see what are actually like the observations, the quotes that led to that insight, and have that hierarchy as well. So then I think I've covered all the different steps, and maybe last but not least, very quickly to share the release timeline. We've also communicated this partly through email already, but we have opened early access, so you can request through a form or later in this webinar what do you want to have access today. The thing is that because we're migrating persona, actions, and quotes to these new insights, we are taking a little bit of a phased approach to this. So you can request the access, then we will migrate at the end of the day when you request it. Tuesday the 21st, which is in 7 days, we will start migrating all freemium business and pro accounts to linked insights. And lastly, there is on Tuesday the 4th of April, we have a final deadline to move also all enterprise customers, but we give a little bit more time to prepare also the team and socialize the change within the company.